Havre, Montana's rail yard. This is the whole reason Havre, Montana is here to begin with, is because BNSF needed a rail yard. The whole reason this town is here, the whole reason there's 2 Best Western Pluses in this town, the whole reason there's like 6 hotels in this town is to cater to the railroad, and there's also a bunch of bars and restaurants obviously supposed to cater to the railroad. But I thought I'd show you that and talk about this week. This week I have Synergy. They called me up asking about taking a trip by not this Friday, not today, but the following Friday, just to stay current on their insurance that I'm active and blah blah blah. And they're just trying to give me work. So I called them back today, and I set up 2 Class B, guess you'd call them camper vans, going from Synergy up to the Twin Cities, in that general area, in Minnesota, to the same place. So it'll be like deja vu, because I could go there once and then come back by bus and then go there again and come back by bus again. And the idea would be I spend one night in the Class B and drive it up there. It's 565 miles, so it'll be like one night and one morning, give or take. Drop it off, get on the bus, spend overnight in the bus, go to Synergy and pick up the other RV that's the same thing, basically, drive it right back the same 565 miles and drop it off, but spend one night in that Class B RV. Nice and cushy and has cruise control. I made damn sure they have cruise control this time, since this last metal step van did not. And I'm basically looking forward to a nice cushy week since I roughed it out here this last time. But Havre, Montana worked out. Talk about that trip in a second. But then basically, so one night in RV, one night in the bus, one night in RV, one night in the bus. It'll take up 4 days of next week. It'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, some of Saturday probably. And then I'll be back in Elkhart area for Sunday, and then the orientation for Indiana transport is on Monday and Tuesday of this week, and then I have orientation for classic transport the following Monday and Tuesday of the next week. And quality right now, I'm waiting on their safety department and all that crap, because apparently they wait till after orientation to run your background and do all that, and then they'll send me a email as when to start. And so I talked to them about it this week, because I was going to try and take something for them before I got busy, and that's what they said they're going to do. So basically, I told them I'm going to have to wait another week on them then, because I have other obligations to get to. So let's see, Synergy this week, then Indiana Transport, and I'm hoping that I can take a run for them right after, the starting gate and taking the driver test form and everything after orientation. I can take a run for them. That would be nice to get them going. And then probably Pinnacle toward the end of that week, for that weekend, as long as they can find some place that'll deliver on a Saturday, so that I can be on a bus on Sunday or fly back on Sunday to be back in time for Classic Count the next following Monday. That's the plan anyway, but I'm looking forward to this nice cushy week. In terms of this trip right now, with the final settlement and everything, it was 1,476 miles. Pinnacle paid 5 something with the bonus. I forget, close to 600 or close to 1,600 with the bonus. They took some of the escrow out and yada yada, but it ended up breaking even with the hotel stays and stuff like that, and they paid for the trip back. So basically, it paid for 3 hotel stays, the bus trip back, and the plain Cessna thing back, and 2 more nights at a hotel, because that's what I'm using it for. And then when I got paid, the money will be back out of it. But I've been basically using this one's deal for the different hotels, which was a nice, fun trip. I mean, that was the whole point of my starting this job, was to use the hotel points, and I have started to get pretty active on the different hotel brands. And like I say, this is Best Western, and I've stayed here, or not here, but stayed for Best Western 2 or 3 times now in different locations. And I've stayed in Choice Hotels 2 or 3 times and used a free night for Choice. So I'm getting pretty active, and then I'm going to start on Hampton Inn, which is the Hilton brand, when I get back on Monday, and stay for them and try to status match them up to top tier. I'm top tier in Best Western, and I'm top tier for Choice, and I'm second to top tier for Holiday Inn Express. Or I mean the international group, whatever, IHG. And Hilton is still at the bottom, so I have to, as soon as I stay active with everybody else, kind of leverage them and their stays, because I can see each other, where you stay on each thing. And once I show them that I'm active everywhere else, and then I start staying at a couple Hilton properties, they'll up me on the status match for that, so I'll be top tier there, or second to top tier most likely, and because you have to gain, stay in there 10 times or something to get to their top tier, which I'm fine with, 10 times, versus the 60 times or whatever they would have to do. And the reason I'm doing that is both for your status when you come into a hotel, like this morning, for instance. I showed up here at 9 o'clock in the morning because I came from the other Best Western Plus, because I wanted to try them both out while I'm here, since there's 2 Best Western Pluses in one town, which is really rare. But again, it's for this railroad. Anyway, so I dropped my bags off here while I had the van, before I went to go deliver the van, obviously, so I didn't have the bags. And then the people who I delivered the van to gave me a ride back up here, which is nice of them, so I didn't have to walk it, but I was doing that just in case I'd have to walk back. And so I showed up at 9, and then she, said you can't get in, check in early, blah, blah, blah. She, treated me like the regular street person type of thing, but didn't ever looked up my account or nothing. And I was fine with that anyway, because I just used their business center thingy to get my paperwork and receipts done while I was down there. It had a table and a light, nice bright light to send my paperwork in for Pinnacle to get paid, and did my receipts for this trip. And then I went and hung out in the pool for a couple hours, pool and hot tub off and on, and calling, like I say, Synergy and all the RV places, and trying to figure out my next week and the week after that, and get everything all scheduled in. And then went for the hot tub again, and then left and went next door to the Murphy's Pub and Grill thingy, where I could eat a steak sandwich, and it was nice to have steak. Once a month I try to treat myself to a decent meal, instead of just junk food all the time. And anyway, I had steak sandwich, came back here, and then between when I went and ate and came back, she had looked me up in the account and realized that I was the top person on that tier that's staying here tonight, or at least as of then. They have a board down there, and my name was at the very top, and then they have a couple other board members that they try to recognize the board members as they come in for loyalty rewards program, because we're frequent travelers and frequent users of their hotel. They're a business concept a long time ago I learned in business school is called the 80-20 rule. Most of these businesses, including especially hotels, get most of their business from repeat people. There's only actually 20% of new people. Your repeats are actually what makes the business viable all year long. And that's why they have these reward programs, and that's why they try to recognize us, like Best Western does with putting your name on the board and everything, to try to incentivize you, or to get you to stay at their property more often, because they're, pointing out that they're recognizing you. And anyway, she apologized profusely about this morning, the way she treated me. I said I didn't mind. I obviously expected not to be able to check in at 9 o'clock in the morning. But I was, I thought she had pulled my account up, so I asked her about, possibly a 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock earlier check-in, because it's especially top tier rewards members. That's one of the things we're supposed to be able to get. We're supposed to get priority access to housekeeping, cleaning the room ahead of time, and getting assigned to the rooms ahead of other people who are not necessarily the rewards people. That way we can get in an hour or two earlier or whatever. Obviously, they wouldn't expect us to be able to get in at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you could get in at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, anyway, she apologized profusely when she looked up at my account, and I just thought it was kind of funny, because I got treated like the average person. But it brings up the point that between that and wearing the Eddie Bauer stuff, or any kind of name brand clothes, you got a North Face, Columbia, Patagonia, if you like any of those brands, Eddie Bauer, any of that stuff, I wouldn't say it screams, but it shows that you have money, because you basically bought another 100 into whatever for the brand name on the whatever. Those are actually pretty cheap Eddie Bauer bags, but nobody knows it unless they go to look it up. They're only $20 a piece. They're like the cheapest bags you can get from Eddie Bauer, but I like the stowaway version, because you can basically fold them back into their own pocket when you're not using them, which is handy for when I'm traveling. So far, I've not been able to condense everything down to one bag, but if I did wear literally all my clothes, I could fit everything in that one backpack. Fold that duffel up and then fit everything in the backpack. That duffel's just full of clothes And because of the size, you would think the duffel is heavier than the backpack, but in truth, right now, because of my work stuff, my license plates and everything else, and then my glasses and my portable batteries for my phone and stuff like that, that backpack is heavier than the duffel. The duffel just has clothes in it. That's the way I like to keep it because of how big the duffel is compared to the backpack. I'd rather have the 2 straps holding all the weight rather than the 1 strap. But if I were to wear all my clothes, I could literally make that duffel bag disappear. So if I had to, if an airline was getting, trying to charge me 30 or 40 bucks and I didn't want to pay it, I especially don't want to check these because the material, I don't think would hold up to being checked. I think it would tear very easily, as in thrown in with other bags. It's the only downside to having it, but I don't want to check my bags anyways. The idea being is if they told me I could only have 1 bag, I could literally go to the restroom, put all those clothes on, make that duffel bag disappear into that other backpack and only have 1 bag. And be like, what you gonna say about it now? Because you can't tell me I can't wear 7 layers of clothes. Not that we want to go that route, but you know what I mean. So that's the idea behind it. But the more and more I think about it, the more I'm considering getting a very small roller, 80 Bauer roller spinner. They call it 4-wheel spinner roller bag. I'm kind of torn on whether I want to or not. If I did get one, it'd be a very small one that's about the size of that duffel, because that duffel is literally the size of the bus in some small airplane overheads. It barely fits. That bag will squeeze down, and fit next to it. But they both just kind of barely fit. But on average, if you take it as an average, that's about what an overhead looks like in most of the buses and some of the smaller aircraft, like the Cessna that I'm taking tomorrow. That Cessna, if it does have overheads, which I don't think it will, it's too small of an aircraft, and most likely go in the back hold. And I wonder about what to do tomorrow because of that. I really don't want that material to tear, but like I say, if it does tear, 80 Bauer does a warranty on some of their stuff the first time around. Or if nothing else, like I say, it's only 20 bucks anyway, and just go buy another one for 20 bucks. I just hope I don't have to tear it. That's the clothes I'm wearing tomorrow. And this is just basically the video before the Cessna video. Just wanted to show you the train yard as that one train was coming through, and I was hoping that another train would come through the other way, but it don't look it. And the beautiful back landscape of Havre, Montana, and discuss my trip and everything. Like and subscribe, leave comments, and we'll catch you on the flip. Oh yeah, down below in the description below is my merchandise if you want to support the channel, if you want to wear that stuff. I'm selling hoodies, t-shirts, socks, glasses, stuff like that. Airplane 312, and I totally agree with it. Said that I need to have merchandise, or should have other options to get my name out there. And I totally agreed with him, so we set that up to go through Teespring, and he did the research on it. So go check his channel out. Like and subscribe, leave comments. This is where the rubber meets the road. Some days on pennies a day, even. The other day, because Pinnacle hadn't paid me yet, and then, well, that's week before that when Synergy hadn't paid me yet, I was a couple pennies close to broke. And then the very next second, you have $1,000 in the bank when they pay you. It's a very interesting life that I'm living. Anyway, peace.